Hey everybody, welcome back to another Tying Tuesday here at AvidMax. My name is Taylor, and today I'm going to tie up a little fly that I have been kind of working on and took inspiration from a Facebook group that I'm a part of. Some guy in Ireland designed a peeping caddis that used a lot of the same materials but was in a size like 14. So I slimmed it down quite a bit. Throw on some different stuff, and so I'm gonna call this one the 5 o'clock shadow. So let's jump right into it. So start out, we're going back to the greatest midge hook ever designed, the 2488. This is a size 18 here. First material we're going to put on is just a white thread base. So I'm using some UTC, UTC 70 denier white. We are going to wrap all the way back to the base, cut off our excess, and wrap back a little bit just to in front of the hook point there. We'll grab our next material, which is going to be the body. This is Hareline's micro tubing in the color Pheasant tail. We're going to tie that in, just catch the tip of it and tie back. This stuff does like to rotate on you, as you see, so if I just let it loose, it slowly just wraps all the way around the hook. Doesn't look clean. So I kind of pull back towards myself and towards the vise a little bit. So that helps flatten it out, keeps it from rotating, and then, you know, just keep adjusting that as you need, as you see it rotating. So we'll lay that down, wrap forward to where our tubing stops, put that in the bobbin cradle, and we are going to take our tubing and start wrapping around. We want to pull, not super hard, but pull firmly on the tubing, and that helps it lay flat. And lays on top of itself, gives it that good, nice, clean, segmented look. So we'll wrap to where we ended our tie-in. Yeah, and like I said, this stuff loves to roll. So give it probably 3 or 4 good locking wraps. Otherwise, this stuff will roll and come undone very easily. So we'll trim that out. And from here, we are going to whip finish our white thread off. I like to use white thread as a base because it really makes that brown in the micro tubing pop. I've tried this on black, tried it on other colors, it just doesn't look as good. So yeah, easy enough for the base of it. The next thing we will do is tie in some black thread. So this is gonna be our finishing thread. I'm using some UNI 8/0. And we'll start in there. This one I'm using a significantly smaller thread to keep the head from bulking up as much as I can. So we'll tie all that in, cut off our excess, and start working on our next material. So I'm using some UTC Mirage Tinsel in the medium size. Cut off like an inch strip of that. We're gonna lay it on top, give it 2 wraps, and then I like to, camera's gonna show this, twist it and kind of manipulate it so it is riding on top and not favoring any of the sides. I'll pull back on it to kind of suck it past the hook eye, like that, and lay a base of thread over that to secure it. It doesn't need to be covered completely because we are going to cover that tinsel with our next material, which is going to be pheasant tail, but not just any part of the pheasant tail. We're gonna use kind of quote unquote the undesirable side. So this is the side that people use for like pheasant tail flies, which is the individual stringy stuff. Looks really good. We're gonna use the back side. So this is the stuff that really likes to stick to itself. It's not quite as flashy or fuzzy. So this is a good time to use it. So I cut off about 6 strands of it, 5 to 6 strands, depending on, you know, the size of the fly. And this is going to imitate our husk on the little midge. So we'll catch that with a loop of thread, pull back on it a little bit, and tie down. We'll cover that one fairly well. So both of those should be, you know, sticking to the back. And we'll tie in our last material, which is going to be kind of the leggy looking stuff, kind of gives it that body and the look of facial hair, hence 5 o'clock shadow. And that is some ostrich herl in black. So because this is a smaller fly, I do like to tie closer to the tip of the ostrich herl and not the thicker end, which would attach to the stem of the feather. So we'll kind of pull back on that, make sure it's seated, and I will clip off my excess and see if you can, just to clean it up, get those couple of strands that stick out over the hook eye. This camera is much better than my eyes, so I'm gonna nitpick it here, but when that's locked in, go ahead and spiral wrap it forward towards the eye. This stuff loves to bunch up on itself, so we'll keep it clean, give it, you know, 3 or 4 wraps. We'll lock it down and snip off our excess. Now from there, you can either take this pheasant tail and just pull directly over, and that helps, mush down those ostrich herl fibers. But sometimes they get in the way of the hook eye. So I like to take my scissors, lay it across flat, and just trim the top of it. So it looks flat now, more or less, especially from the hook eye. Keeps that hook eye clean. So when I trim the top, we'll take our pheasant tail fibers, then lay them over the top and give it 2 or 3 locking thread wraps. From there, I like to wrap back once, and we will trim those away. And then last thing we will do before we seal it off is pull that flash back over the top of the fly. Now this is your last chance to really position that where you want. So if you did tie it in kind of cattywampus, you can still correct for that if you would like. We'll give it 2 thread wraps over and then thread wrap, or pull it back and then do a couple thread wraps in front of it. We'll trim that up. And the last thing I like to do to really help bring out the flash of the tinsel is I will put a just tiny little dab of Solarez thick on it. Oh, that might be a little more than I bargained for. From there, you'll grab a bodkin, a clean bodkin, and just manipulate it back. You can take off some excess because I definitely had some excess on there. Perfect. And then when that's where you want it, I'll finish it off with the whip finish. break the thread off, not all the way. Just at the tip of the bobbin. All right, and then I like to hold it upside down to let that resin kind of form a good bubble before I zap it. Let gravity help you out a little bit there. And then when it's where you like it, turn it around and zap it with the UV light. And that is the finished fly. So my tinsel is a little more cattywampus than I want, but it'll still fish. And like I said, this camera is much better than my eyes, so I can nitpick it, but that is essentially the 5 o'clock shadow. It's a great little midge pattern. I'll tie it down into a 20 or a 22. I'll size down my tinsel if I do so, but this is a great little wintertime pattern. So tie one out for yourselves, go ahead and fish it. You can find all the materials on our website, along with this sweet new vise that I just splurged on. So this is the Dynaking Barracuda Deluxe rotary vise. It's the bee's knees, man. I don't know what else I can say about it other than it's sweet. So super nice finish on it. I've been tying on it for a couple weeks now to get some practice, and I absolutely love it. Don't have enough good things to say. So yeah, check all this out, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.